In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how you can build an absolutely magnetic personal brand that not only gets you a ton of views, not only gets you a ton of followers, but actually prints you cash as well. Because there's no point in growing your following to 100k or 1 million followers and not actually be able to make money or sales off the back of that. We want the two together. I'm going to be breaking down the psychology of viral hooks, why people actually choose to purchase, how to show up as yourself online and actually make content creation fun for you, and how to build a cult-like audience of people who are absolutely obsessed with you. I'm also going to be giving you so many content ideas that you can walk away and start creating from today. So let's get into it. Content is my happy place. I enjoy talking about content and building personal brands so much, and I love the psychology element behind it as much as everything. My clients and me have an inside joke that my brain literally works in hooks because I can come up with a hook that's viral for any niche in literally 2 seconds. But the first thing we're going to get into is what actually makes people buy from coaches or buy from people in the online space. And the first and number one thing is trust. And you guys probably seen at the minute, trust is actually at an all-time low in the online space at the moment because there's a lot of scams going around, there's a lot of people that don't actually deliver the service they said they're going to provide and stuff. So no one will ever give you their money unless they trust you. So the first and easiest way to actually create this sense of trust, which is again, something that contradicts what a lot of people are doing at the moment, is to be more vulnerable. Because obviously everyone knows that no one's perfect. That's just the reality of life. But still people come online and claim that they have their entire lives together. They claim that they're perfect in so many ways. But that doesn't create a sense of trust. It kind of creates a superiority complex. So what we want to do is we also don't want to come on and we don't want to cry about our lives and go into victim mode and just do a big rant complaining, because that takes away your authority completely. But we want to come online and we want to combine vulnerability plus our lessons. So there's always going to be times, no matter what you're doing with your life, whether you're a PT, whether you're a mindset coach, whether you're a business coach. If you're a business coach, maybe you have a bad week in business. If you're a PT, maybe you fall off track for a couple of days or a week. But how we combine this vulnerability with being truthful and honest with the lessons we learned is sharing it from a lens of, here's what happened to me, but here's how I resolved it and got back on track. Here's how we resolved it, and I'm going to sign 5 more clients this month. Or say if you're a mindset coach, it could be like, this week I spiraled a little bit or I woke up feeling a bit anxious, but here's what I did to bring myself back to baseline. So you're sharing the vulnerability of what's going on, but you're sharing it from a coaching perspective of what you've done and how you coach yourself in order to get yourself back to the position you want to be in. So simply in your content, the first pillar of actually creating a magnetic personal brand that people are actually going to buy from you as well is, if you can create this sense of trust through being vulnerable and sharing your lessons, you're going to have people who are absolutely obsessed with you and wanting to buy from you because they actually trust you, because not a lot of people are actually showing their failures and showing their lessons, as well as just coming online and painting this perfect picture of their lives as well. Second part of building a magnetic personal brand is hooks. If you do not grab someone's attention in the first 3 seconds, like that's just it, you're done. Like you're not going to be able to grow a brand unless you can get good at hook creation and hook formation and knowing the psychology behind what makes someone stop scrolling. So with this, we kind of have 2 purposes to our content. We have the first purpose of our content, which is called dream follower content, and I'll explain that in a second. And then we have the second part, dream follower, and the second part, which is ICP, specific content. So with dream follower content, because say when you're targeting your ICP directly, that's quite a small pool of people. But when you're targeting your dream follower, it also includes your ICP. So it's like this. This is your dream follower and this is your ICP. The black dot is your ICP, the broader circle is your dream follower. So dream follower, ICP. So when you create content that targets your dream follower, you're going to be targeting a broader market. So it's going to be relatable to more people. It's going to bring you in more views. It's going to bring you in more eyeballs, and it's also going to relate to your ICP. So that's going to be your first type of content. And then your second type of content is going to be more value-based ICP content that's really targeting that ideal client that you want to drag in. And that's what's going to nurture the followers that are coming in to actually buy from you. So essentially you get a lot of people coming into your funnel through your top of funnel content, which is targeting your dream follower. Then you nurture them down through giving specific value, speaking to one specific person. And then we'll talk about how to convert them in a second. So essentially what you want to do is you want to write out your dream follower interests. So I want you to write down 3-4 interests that your dream follower has that's quite broad and vague. So for an example, if you're a fitness coach, Your dream follower might be interested in a healthy lifestyle. They might also be interested in like sports, like soccer, like basketball, like boxing. They might be interested in traveling potentially as well. And they might also obviously be interested in the gym, working out, getting fit, good shape, physique, staying healthy. So that's like your broad kind of topics. Then your more niche topics is how to come up with how much calories you need to eat in a week, how to figure out your protein, how to figure out your macros, a week in the life of eating and how to actually plan out your weeks in terms of nutrition. That's like more very niche stuff, whereas your dream follower is more broad topics. So knowing that you have your two types of content and then knowing the purpose behind, okay, what am I creating right now? Am I creating a piece of top of funnel content that's targeting a broader market, or am I creating more niche specific piece as well? Because where I see a lot of people go wrong with content creation is they're literally just flinging spaghetti at a wall. They're posting every single day thinking they're great, but there's no intentionality behind what they're posting and what that's actually doing to actually bring someone down the funnel to get closer to buying from them as well. So then going back, so that didn't really explain the psychology of hooks just yet, but that's just context on that one. In terms of hooks, so there's a couple of different things I do here. The best lens is to ask yourself, if this hook or if this person that I didn't know popped up my feed page while I'm sitting down on my couch scrolling, would it make me actually stop my scroll in order to listen? So it's called a third party lens. So if you take a third party lens when you're crafting hooks and be like, is this hook good enough or scroll stopping enough to actually grab my attention? So continuously asking yourself, okay, if I seen this hook, would it stop my scroll? How can I make it better to actually open a curiosity loop in my brain if this wasn't me and I didn't know who this person was that was talking? So you have three types of hooks as well. You have a visual hook, which most people miss out on. So that's what you're actually doing in the first 3 seconds. You have a verbal hook, which is what you're saying. Verbal. Spelling's not my strong point, don't mind me. Is what you're speaking or what you're saying. And then you have your static hook, which is your text that is on the screen. So combining all three together is going to give you the best hook possible. Verbal hook, which is what you're saying in the first 3 seconds. So you want to make that open a curiosity loop in someone's brain is the best verbal hooks. So like making someone want to know more or need to know more or need to know what's coming next. Curiosity, that's the point I want you to really think on in terms of the verbal hook. Visual hook, it's good just to do something a bit like what the fuck sometimes. Like what? Like you see people sometimes, I know one of my friends, she went really viral and generated a lot of leads because she attached her mic to chopsticks. So she was holding the chopsticks and her mic was on the chopsticks. So it just makes people like go, what? Let this make sense. So it keeps them on the video a bit longer. Or you always see people that are PTs in the kitchen using food. So they'll catch a bag of potatoes or rice or something or pasta and that will be their hook. It'll be like, in the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how eating healthier makes you fat or something like that. And then the static hook on the top of the screen, again, you want to use that as a complementary to your verbal hook. Another point in terms of what I see people doing wrong is they have the same static hook as their verbal hook. There's no point in that. You want them to complement each other, not be the same. So say if your verbal hook is, here's why eating healthy makes you fat. That's a really good verbal hook because it makes people go, what the fuck? If you have a good point to make on that, it could be a really good hook. Then your static hook on the top of the screen could be like, stop eating healthy. So they complement each other as opposed to just being the same thing twice. So that's kind of what you want to think about in terms of the static hook and the visual hook as well. So far we have the third party lens. Every single time you craft a hook, go back over it and ask yourself, if this popped up on my For You page, would it actually make me stop my scroll? Then you have your visual, verbal and static hook. Then the last part is researching viral hooks. So the thing about hooks is, if it works well in one niche, it's probably going to work well in numerous other niches too. So for the example I just used, we said, here's why eating healthy makes you fat. How could you apply that to different niches? So I'm just going to write down viral research. So for different niches, we'll say, here's why journaling is making your mindset worse, if you had a point to make on that. Or here's why cold showers are ruining your productivity, because most people associate cold showers with being productive. So you're using the contrast of like, that's, and if you have a point to make on that, obviously you're not going to just say something rage baity for the sake of it. You're going to want to have a point to make after it. But if you're someone who doesn't think someone needs cold showers in order to be productive, that could be how you could change that viral health hook to your niche, which could be productivity or mindset. So the third point in terms of hooks is definitely viral research. Is everyone that's successful in the creator space, they use what's actually done well, because there's so many viral templates of content out there that's already performed. So instead of trying to reinvent the wheel and post 100 times in order to get one hook that goes viral, if you just utilize what's already worked, it's going to get you there a lot faster. So look at like 10 to 20 to 30 viral hooks in numerous different niches of creators you like, creators you vibe with, and ask yourself, how can I restructure this to my niche? Another example of one I did recently is there was a really viral reel, and it was like, here's how you can build a bulletproof mindset in the next 60 seconds. So you can literally just take a bulletproof mindset and you can input the dream result that your ideal client or your dream follower wants. So here's how you can create your dream physique in the next 60 seconds. Here's how you can build unshakable discipline in the next 60 seconds. Here's how you can find your purpose in the next 60 seconds. So you can just change the viral hook that you found in a different niche to apply to your dream follower and your ideal client as well with that. Third thing then we're going to get into is energy. So I have this thing called conscious content that I do with my gang. So the energy and the headspace you're in while you're creating a piece of content is people will feel that on the other side of the phone. Conscious. Again, guys, spelling. Lucky I'm good at business because I can't spell for the life of me. Content. Oh God, that's definitely wrong. Correct me in the comments. Anyways, conscious content. So basically, people are not scrolling through videos, they're scrolling through different emotional states. So 1 minute you're pissing yourself laughing at something really funny you've seen. Next thing you see someone coming home and that people when they come home from Sydney and they hug their parents and you're nearly tearing up. And the next thing you see a cute dog and you're like, oh, that's so cute, that's so heartwarming. So when people are scrolling, they're actually scrolling through different emotional states. They're scrolling through feelings. So conscious content essentially is the energy you're in and the voice and what you're bringing to a video. You can do this consciously and make people feel a certain way consciously. So right now I've done this, I've reverse engineered my content and myself and how I'm around my friends, and this is how I am. People would obviously love if I talked a little bit slower, but that's just not me. I talk fast when I'm passionate about things. I talk fast with my friends. I have high energy, like that's just who I am. So it would be very hard for me to create YouTube videos every single week if I was trying to show up perfect as someone I'm not. Talk really slow, talk really calm, be really chilled out. If I was to show up online like that every single week, creating YouTube videos will be my worst nightmare. So I've kind of reverse engineered how I am around my friends, and that's what I want to bring into my YouTube, that's what I want to bring into my Instagram, and that's ultimately why my dream clients are going to be drawn to me as well. So the best thing to ask this in terms of getting clear on your energy is just ask yourself, how do you show up around your friends? Because most of the time we're truly ourselves around the people closest to us or our family members, and when you can replicate that same energy in your content, the same reason your friends are friends with you is the same reason your clients will want to work with you as well. That's the reason most of my clients say they want to work with me, because they love my vibe, they love my energy, they love my enthusiasm, they love my motivation. That's the reason why I draw them in. So one thing to ask yourself for this when you're creating a piece of content is, what feeling do I want someone to walk away from this video having? So simple question, but it will help you show up in a way that's going to be the result of it. So what feeling do I want someone to walk away from this video having? Do I want them to feel inspired? Do I want them to feel motivated? Do I want them to feel educated? Do I want them to feel happy? Do I want them to feel inspired? So once you have that emotion, your energy, your tone, like how your body language is going to be able to reflect the emotion that you want someone walking away from the video feeling as well. So also with conscious content, your best content ideas are going to come when you're in your joy. They're going to come when you're doing something fun. And we don't want to lose those ideas or forget about those ideas, because I used to do that in the past. I'd have an amazing idea and be like, oh, that's banging, I need to record that when I come home, and I completely forget it. So having a notes app that you jot down all your ideas in is so helpful. And then also the other thing I see people go wrong with is they have a notes app, but then they get overwhelmed because they have so many ideas in their notes app. So we have a 24-hour rule in my mastermind. As soon as an idea goes into your notes app, it must be out of your notes app within 24 hours and onto Instagram. That is the rule we have, and that's the rule I'd love you to take as well, because self-mastery is your ability to follow through with your own conscious commands. When you get a download, or when your intuition is like, oh, that's a good content idea. This is literally, what I did with this YouTube video right now. I already had a YouTube video done, and I'm pre-recording a couple because I'm going traveling to LA. So I was actually just meditating, and this idea came into my head. It's completely off the cuff, literally completely unplanned, unscripted, just off the top of my brain. But I was like, oh my God, this is what I need to talk about today. And if I was to put that off for a couple of weeks and be like, I'll do that when I get to LA, I wouldn't have the same energy being brought to this video video, and it probably wouldn't do near as well. So your ability to follow through on your own conscious commands is what self-mastery is. So when you get an idea, execute straight away, because that inner guidance, that intuition that is telling you that idea is what's going to lead you to your goals, to your desires, to manifesting everything you want as well. So make sure every time you get an inspired idea, you execute on that right away in the fastest possible time too. So conscious content, what feeling do I want someone to walk away from this video feeling? Also, if you meditate before you record content, your energy is going to be better as well, and you're going to be able to speak more like yourself. And also what I do is sometimes I just do a few warm-up exercises. Like I'll put because sometimes what happens a lot of the time is we put our phone up or put our camera up, and then our voice changes, our demeanor changes, everything changes about us, and we're not able to be our true self. Maybe you start feeling a bit anxious and your words get stuck in your throat and you're just not showing up and doing yourself justice for who you actually are. So sometimes what I do is I let the camera roll for a while, and I'll just be chatting away to the camera. Literally, I have it in the background and I'm like literally just talking to the camera as if it was a person for like 5, 6, 7 minutes, and then I'll start recording my content. And it really helps warm me up to actually speak like myself to the camera as well. So that's a really good idea for the conscious content side of things too. And then as promised, the last thing I want to go through today is unlimited content ideas that you can walk away having. So there's going to be 3 little pieces we're going to do here. The first, again, with trust. People buy from people they trust. So they want to know about you and your story. So this is what I call creator vision. That's going to give you unlimited ideas for your story. So 10 life lessons you've learned, 10 painful things that you've been through that's made you into the person you are, and 10 life experiences you've had. So I call that the 10x10x10. When you journal on that, you're going to have 30 pieces of content that you can tell your story on in terms of things that you've been through in your life. Second thing, you also need to show people that you know your shit. So being inside the head of your ideal client is going to help with this so much. When you can answer this question, like what do they wake up in the morning fearing, worrying about, wanting to change in their lives? What keeps them up at night? How do they speak to their friends about their problems? When you can be that much inside your ideal client's heads, you're going to be able to articulate their problems better than they can even articulate their own problems. And when you can put to words something that someone's thinking inside their head but not really saying, they're going to literally be like, this person is the only person that I need to get help from. One of my clients did this really, really well recently. People in Ireland feel guilty for resting, but it's not commonly talked about. So she knew her ideal clients so well. She knew that that was going through their heads. So she created a piece of content on feeling guilty while resting. And she got tens of messages of people messaging her being like, I relate to that so much, that's so me. And that's how she started so many conversations of putting to words what's inside her ideal clients' heads. So that's going to show that you know your shit as well. And it's going to attract your ICP in abundance. And then the third thing to give you unlimited content ideas is your beliefs, your views of the world, and what makes you you. So views of the world, like what do you believe in? What do you not believe in? Like what is your opinion on things? What is your beliefs? Also, what's your hobbies? Like what do you do in your spare time? Like, it's so crazy. A lot of my clients sign up for me. They pay me 5, 6, 7K, 12K sometimes for my higher package as well. What's the reason you signed up with me? Oh, because you do wakeboarding and I love adventure sports. Like literally sometimes that is the reason, which is crazy. So by you showing your and rugby, another girl signed up because she was like, oh, you seen you played rugby and I played rugby too. Obviously that wasn't the only reason, but it was part of the reason why she chose me over another mentor to invest in. So when you show your hobbies, what you do for fun, what you do in your spare time as well, that's going to get people so bought into you. And that's what's going to create this audience of people who are obsessed with you, infatuated with you, and so interested in your life. I'm going to take a few people on for a content review call. Rarely do this, so get on it fast. If you want it, fill out the application below to work with me as well, and I'll give you a free 30-minute call with me personally where I'll review your content, I'll go through your content pillars and give you a clear game plan in order to actually sign clients from your content. So if you want to avail of this, apply to work with me down below and I'll get back to you to see if you got through. If not, no worries. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you got so much value, and I'll see you next week for another one.